I'm life and business coach Samantha Sifring, and this is the Online Business Building Mamas podcast, where you learn how to build a wildly successful business from home while raising kids. Welcome to episode 82. So last year, around this time, you might remember that I had gotten a call from my sister asking, how spontaneous are you? And I ended up planning a last minute trip to Florida to celebrate her birthday with her and go to Halloween horror nights and all of the fun things in Orlando. This year, it was not spontaneous or last minute. We've been planning it all year long, and later today, I am getting on the plane to go see my sister. And she listens to this podcast, so she's going to hear this after we spent the whole weekend together, and that makes me smile. So this time, Stuart, my husband, is coming with me, and we are leaving tonight. And several of our family members are coming down with colds. I am currently chugging this Gypsy cold care tea and drinking a lot of water, eating vegetables, taking vitamins, everything I possibly can to kick a little bit of a sore throat that I'm feeling. And my middle child had to be picked up in the middle of the day because he had a fever. And here's what's really interesting about this and why I'm telling you this story, besides the fact that I know some of you really like the personal. So I got a call in the middle of a client session, and when I saw the number, I thought, oh, I bet that's the nurse from the school. Like, I just had a feeling. I don't know if you ever experienced that, where you're just like, I know exactly what's going on here. And I couldn't answer. I was in the middle of a client session, and I just got a new phone, so my voicemail was not even set up, so they couldn't leave a voicemail, which ended up being good because they called Stuart and he texted. I quickly texted back that, hey, I'm on with clients. I have another one after this, and I don't have enough of a break. And he left work to go pick up our middle kiddo from the nurse's office at school. And what I find so amazing about this is that I now have a legitimate job. And I know for some of you, you may not love that. And I would say for most of my clients, they have really flexible businesses that allow them to leave at a moment's notice. And I've even canceled calls to go pick up a injured child from the school before. But today I knew, like, I don't have flexibility in my day. I don't have flexibility the rest of this week because we're leaving on this trip and there's no spare moment. Like, I'm having lunch, I'm dropping off the dog, I'm recording my podcast, I'm doing my last call, and then we're leaving. So the fact that my business was important enough and real enough and all of that he was the one who left work and then made arrangements to work from home the rest of the day, for me is just one of those moments where I'm like, wow, I really did this. This really is something that exists, that is real, that is what I do now. Like, this is who I am. This is how I spend my days, and it's important and meaningful and all of the things. And I just wanted to share that moment. You know, like, sometimes I share these like ideal days and that kind of thing. And something about this for me just felt like an ideal day. Like, I wasn't sacrificing. I wasn't the one who it was just immediately was assumed was going to drop everything and go. So anyway, I just wanted to share that and kind of paint that picture of maybe what you're building is going to become so legit that you are not the first call. You are not the one who drops everything to pick up if you don't want to be. If you want to kind of have that symbolism of what I'm doing is important and other people agree. All right. So today we are talking about how to sign clients, specifically this one thing that you need to do to sign clients. So earlier this week, I spent some time thinking about each of my clients. I pulled out a sheet of paper, I wrote all of their names, and I reflected for several minutes on each client about where they are right now, where they still want to go, and what I think they need to do to get where they want to go. I came up with a lot of different things, but there was a lot of very similar themes, which was interesting. Today's episode is inspired by that work because at least half of my current clients need to do this one thing more than they currently are. So the thing is what I started calling MVA in my notes, and it stands for Massive Visible Action. So first, let's define massive action. Massive action is continuing to take action until you reach your goal. So consistency, sticking with it, that type of thing. And for me, I'm going to add in that this is devoting a legitimate amount of time to reaching your goals per week. So I talk to a lot of women who have goals that they aren't achieving, like income goals and that kind of thing, or maybe they want to build a new area of their business or go in a new direction, and they feel really frustrated that they haven't gotten results there, and they're like, I'm blocked, I can't do this, I don't know what I need to do. And then I ask how much of a priority it's been and how much time they've devoted to it, and it hasn't been a priority and they haven't devoted much time. And that explains why there aren't the results there. So I want you to really think about, if you plan to work 20 hours a week when you're fully booked, or whatever your number is, but right now you're using those 20 hours doing dishes, going on walks, shopping, etc., you need to do an audit of your time and get very honest with yourself. This was something that I truly fell into when I was first starting my business, and I would definitely spend time on the business, but I would also schedule like haircuts and manicures and grocery shopping and walks and coffee dates and all of these things during my working time. And then I would not be working, and then I would be wondering why I didn't get the results that I wanted to get. So, is your business getting the actual amount of time it needs to be nurtured by you and to grow? Ask yourself that really hard question and be very honest. I tend to attract women who are not afraid to work. They love keeping busy. They love having a full plate of commitments. They're typically volunteers. They're typically very active socially. They typically have a lot of different activities that they're doing and kids and all of it. But a trap that they fall into in their business is spending way too much time doing the wrong kind of action in their business. So it's not that they're lazy. It's not that they're not willing to put in the work. It's that the work that they're doing is not the work that's going to lead to the results they want. This wrong kind of action is passive action. These are the actions that won't lead to money in the business. These things are nice to do and nice to have, but not need to do or need to have to make money right now. I know this from personal experience. These are the exact things that I spent time and energy on at the beginning of my business. This is what that looked like for me. I spent a lot of time building a website. Oh my gosh, you guys, I spent so much time on this website. It was complete with a quiz, which showed people which of my courses was the best fit for them. Speaking of courses, I made 3 of them, and they all had PDF workbooks with different themes, plus audio recordings set to drip out each day of the course. I also had an Instagram account where I posted quotes and memes and ran Facebook ads to my freebies. Yes, more than one. I had 2 of them, and I did challenges. I spent months and months doing all of these things. And it wasn't until month 10 that I signed a client, and that client didn't come from any of those things that I did. I also wrote blog posts religiously every week. I got published on Thought Catalog every week. And I was quoted as a guest expert in Bustle and a bunch of other sites like that on my life coaching topics. And none of those things brought clients to me, mostly because a lot of those things were not getting eyeballs on them. This is the problem with these types of things. Not only do they feel incredibly productive and like you are working so hard, most of the internet is also telling you that you need them like yesterday and that they're required to be successful. Spoiler alert, they are not. Sure, websites, funnels, freebies, courses, all of that can be nice to have. But for me, they were a huge distraction from the things that would ultimately lead me to making money. When this was happening, it was a very frustrating time for me. I didn't know any better, and I was getting only free advice. I didn't have my own coach for business at this time, and I was following a very well-meaning checklist of what I needed to have for a coaching business, and also modeling things after what I saw other coaches doing, like coaches making multiple 6 figures when I just wanted to sign one client. So that was not what I needed to be focused on. But here's the secret. Funnels, freebies, an email list, a website, Instagram, PDFs, courses, they weren't the things that created my 6-figure business. What did was massive, visible action. So thinking of massive action as taking action until you hit your goals, we also want to point out that actions in this category are the ones that are directly linked to signing clients. The reason that I added visible to massive action is that it's going to help you really focus on the actions that are visible to your ideal client. When your ideal client has their eyeballs on what you're doing, that is the most important piece here. Things like networking, talking to people, telling people what you do, making offers to get someone on a free consult or discovery call with you. These are the things that we tend to overlook, but are actually the easiest things to implement right now. Think about how many events you get invited to that you don't go to. Mom's night outs, networking events, coffee dates, all of these types of things. Think about how often you are talking to people and you don't tell them what you do. I know that a lot of you are doing this because up until early this year, I was still telling people I was a stay-at-home mom first when they asked me what I did, which is funny because I didn't even have kids at home. They were in school and I was busy building a business, a 6-figure business, and I was still saying stay-at-home mom. So if I was doing it way past when it was actually true and way past when I should start telling people about my business, I know that you're probably falling into that trap too. Tell people what you do and be willing for these things to be trial and error, for them to be messy, and for you to learn along the way. Like with networking, you're going to have so many different places that your ideal client might be hanging out. And you're going to have to take educated guesses and try things. With talking to people, that may not be something that comes naturally to you. I remember my coach saying something like, you need to be aware of if you're thinking that you don't need any more friends, because that's going to prevent you from really solidly networking without an agenda and really just being there to grow your network and meet people. Telling people what you do. This is something that can be a struggle when you're first starting out. And trust me, you don't need a perfect elevator pitch to do this. You can just get out there, let it be different every time until you find your way that's really smooth and really practiced. I would rather have you get out there and get into action than be practicing and writing and thinking and all of that at home. And then making offers is not going to feel comfortable to you at first. Like, who of us just naturally is selling and making offers in our life before we start a business? Most people are not good at that. And actually, I feel like the people that are best at that are just like naturally very like kind and interested in other people. I have a neighbor and fellow mom at the school who has become a good friend, who was just very persistent about being my friend when we first met. And I feel like some people could have like labeled it as pushy. It was not pushy. It was so welcome. Like, she was flat out like, I like you, I want to be friends, let's hang out. And I was like, oh my gosh, someone likes me, someone wants to hang out. So don't worry about getting it perfect. Just try. Get out there and try. Think about this. When your kids were first learning to walk, they did not like intellectually think about walking a whole bunch and like figure it out in their mind before they took their first step. That was messy, right? They fell down, they were wobbly. We didn't even really know how those tiny feet were going to hold up those giant legs and that big body. And yet somehow they were able to figure it out by repeatedly trying. That is the mindset you need to have with your business. Okay. These activities are the kinds of things that can have you meeting someone on Monday night, doing a call with them on Tuesday afternoon, and signing them as a client Tuesday night. One-on-one personal conversations and relationships are the fastest converting funnel you could ever find or dream of. So here's the simple plan that you need to follow to get into massive, visible action and get more clients this month. Number 1, figure out where your ideal clients are. Be willing to guess, try different things, and be wrong as you figure out the place where they are and where you shine best. For me, this was Facebook groups. Before my group existed and before my group was what it is today, I met my potential clients in other Facebook groups. I gave so much freaking value in other people's groups, mostly in the comments of other threads. I think I've shared this before, but it was always my goal to be the most valuable comment in the whole thread, even if it had like 200 comments on it. That was always a big thing for me, and I got a lot of clients that way. For another one of my clients, Basically, every time she goes to an in-person networking event, she gets multiple discovery/consult calls scheduled and multiple clients from each one. It's like a money tree for her. For another client, Instagram is where she really shines. She has a beautiful aesthetic. She's a graphic designer, and she really shines over on Instagram. People love her. People want to connect with her, and she's gotten a lot of clients over there. Number 2, make a plan for consistently talking to people, building relationships, and talking about what you do regularly. I have a client who, when she first started her business, she made a goal to tell 3 people a day about what she does. Like 3 potential clients, not like calling her grandma, but like 3 potential clients a day she would tell about what she did. So she had to have a lot more conversations than 3 per day because not every conversation led to that. She created massive income in her business very quickly because of that habit. Number 3, make offers often. If you're worried about being pushy or salesy, trust me, you are probably the kind of person who isn't pushy or salesy, but those thoughts will definitely sabotage you. Just remember this: don't be a weirdo about it. Understand that you have something other people want. Come from a place of caring and service and offer from the heart. And you might be wondering, what's the offer? In my case, the offer is a free consult call with me. For you, it might be a free training. It might be your Facebook group. You might just offer your product. It kind of depends on what your business is. All right, mamas, take these massive visible actions and others if you choose and get out there. You truly have something that can be life-changing for other people, and right now you might be holding it back from the world. Want help with each of these steps and personalized advice about where your people are, how to talk to people, what your messaging should be, and how to make offers that aren't totally creepy? This is what I do. We should talk about working together. If that's something that you'd like to explore, head over to my calendar at bit.ly/callsamantha and choose a time. We will talk about where you are right now, your big vision and goals. I will lay out your simple plan to get there, and we'll talk about exactly how I can help you make money, sign clients, and start building your dream business this month. Check out the link in the show notes or go to bit.ly/callsamantha, bit.ly/callsamantha. If you like this podcast, I want to invite you to coach with me over in my program, Mama to CEO. There's you, and there's the consistent income you want to make in your business, and I help you remove everything standing in between. It's lifetime access for mastering your marketing, sales, time, and everything else you need to have the business and life you really want. Whether it's making your first 1,000 or 100,000, I can help you do it. To join, go to mamatoceo.com, mamatoceo.com.